Hello, everybody, and welcome to NoCoders Office Hours, episode number 219. I'm here with our members, Brittany, Thomas, Ben, and Jordan. We're going to get started in a moment, but first, if this is your first time watching an Office Hours event, we do these 6 times per week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and then Mondays we have a bonus session, a second session at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And what it is we hold our Zoom sessions, we invite our members, they come on, and they can ask us any bubble questions they want. They can bring up any bubble topics, and we will cover them. We can't promise to always have answers because nobody has all of the answers, but we can promise that you won't suffer alone with your problems with bubble, and we will help you through them one way or the other. We make a lot of progress on these calls, and then we also make progress outside of the calls. But we would love to have you. So if you'd like to join us for office hours and also our after hours sessions, you can go and sign up at pronocoders.com. Also, in addition to office hours, we have a thing called the Vault, and we have been working on it for many months, and our video editor is running out of videos to edit to make things awesome in the Vault. So go check it out. Go to pronocoders.com/the Vault and just do a search, a keyword search, and see what you find. Or you can click the button to look at everything and see all of the different videos. Now, what's special about our Vault is that we are very conscientious of the fact that it can be very time consuming to find material in a video that you really need. So instead of having you watch hours and hours of video that you don't need, we have taken a lot of painstaking effort to catalog, tag, and then timestamp all our videos so you can look at the timestamps and see exactly where to go in the video to find the answer that you're looking for. So please go check that out. I want to go ahead and welcome. We have Sebastian joining us as a guest today, and one of our new members, Kelly, is here. Hi, Kelly. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. We're going to go ahead and get started. I think, Brittany, you were first in the waiting room. Do you want to go ahead and get us started with a question?
Sure. I'll share my screen. Okay, so I'm having an issue with connecting my photos and the title and all this information. So I'll preview really quickly. I'm a little confused on why I can't connect some items. So this is the previous one that I had, but I don't want it to look like that anymore. So the picture is supposed to be here and like the information should be there, but I'll go to my, I'm sorry, I have so many tabs up. My workflow when you press save. So I have 2 different buttons for save, basically, if they already have images or if they don't, but I still don't know how to connect it. What I have right now is, why is it not? Okay, what I have right now is just saving the images from the uploaders value. Mm-hmm. And then previously we made, and this was me and you, we kind of made another data type picture, but I think I may have already had something that kind of confused me because under the user, okay, so under the users, we have a portfolio, which is a type portfolio. Then we have the images and files.
I see. So I think under the user, you would just have the portfolio reference, and then the portfolio should have the reference to the list of files.
Okay. So this should be under here. I was like, why isn't it? So do I need a list of pictures under here? It's like I have 2 of this.
So now the other thing is for each picture, you're allowing them to store some information like the title of the picture and a description. Right. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So that's why you have a picture thing in your database. So each picture, the file is going to actually be stored on the picture data type. along with your title and the other information. And so that where it says list of pictures right there, that's a list of the picture data type, right?
Okay.
So you're going to make several of those and then store it back on. So
how would I pop-ups? Okay, so every time I try to connect that information, there is no way for me to get to the inputs. Like,
right, that's because your inputs right now are in a repeating group. So let's go back to your design.
okay.
All right, so what we want to do is, I think that's fine the way that you have it, like the repeating group.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we want to do is instead of having drop files or click to upload as an individual thing up at the top,
Mm-hmm.
we want to go ahead and put that the file uploader in each cell, right?
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is you'll have like a plus button or some button to add a picture to the portfolio, right? And that will create a blank picture thing in the portfolio. And then you can upload the picture to each one and add the title, skill category, and description. You can do all of that with auto binding. And that will save you from having to try to find the input values when you're clicking the save button.
Okay, that was a lot, but
it was a lot. So the very first thing is, let's just put in a very tiny box, like in there, just put the uploader in each cell.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to use this because
actually, yeah, you can take it for that current cell's image, and you can just take that and replace it. It's okay. You just make it first or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Now I need a wait. Why is this double?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Attaboy.
Hi, Toya.
I'm not sure why this is doing
I think you might not in your go to the appearance in your repeating group. I think you need to set a fixed number of columns. There should only be one, right?
Oh. The only reason why I did that is because when I have more than the rows here, there's a bar that appears here. And that's the only way I found to get rid of it. But I don't know if that was right.
Yeah, but that means it'll be doing like horizontal scrolling if the screen is wide enough.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we can work on removing the scroll bar later.
Okay.
Okay, so now what's the repeating group set to? The repeating group is set to of type image, but actually I think what you're going to want to set it to is of type picture. And then you're going to want to set the data source to the current user's portfolio. And then set the pictures. That resolved, so that should be right. Okay.
Wait,
now,
am I leaving it at current user's portfolio pictures?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So now what we want to do is go into where it says drop files or click to upload. So we don't really want a multi-file uploader here. We just want a single like image uploader. So you might want to right click and change the type there.
Okay, I'll just. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so now you want to go ahead in the appearance there and enable auto binding on parent elements thing. And the field to modify is image. And then go ahead and click that text that's underneath where it says image. We're going to add a privacy rule here to allow auto binding. So click on privacy. I don't know why it didn't take you to the right spot. And then go to picture and and define a new rule. And we'll call this rule owner. Okay, so current user as so when you say when this picture pictures portfolio. Actually, let's just set on the picture thing itself, go to the data types, go to picture and create an owner field of type user. Yep, and then go back to privacy. And then this, and click where it says portfolio and say owner is current user. So just type is, and then current user. And then click for allowing auto binding and allow auto binding on everything except the owner.
Okay.
So click where it says image title. Nope, go up to the checkboxes where it says image and title. To the right, click all of those and click.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Yes, click uncheck owner.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
No, sorry, you wanted
Sorry.
that one, and uncheck owner and uncheck portfolio.
Yeah. So how close the box is to this?
It is very confusing, but go to the very far right where the portfolio checkbox, uncheck that one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to where we were in the design. Okay, so that should be fine. Now let's do the same thing for title. Click in the title input and enable binding on parent elements thing. And but I think go back to the title, and field to modify is going to be the, what is that? The parent group is something else. So click on the group holding that.
I don't have anything.
Nope, the group holding the title
Oh,
input.
this one. Got you. Yeah, this one.
Okay, can I take over?
Sure.
All right. Let's go to which page are you on? Which one?
New dashboard.
Okay, your audio's doing that funny thing. I think you said new dashboard. Is that right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay.
And then what's the group that I'm looking for?
It's a pop-up. It says pop-up upload pics or something like that. Yeah.
Here we go. All right, so content is going to be picture. We want current sales picture. And here, I don't understand. Enable auto binding on parent elements thing. What is the parent element here? Okay. And so this would be, what's the title compared
Yes.
to here?
No, title at the bottom.
Title at the bottom. Okay. And then here we want.
I have an issue with that too. I'm just going to worry about that later.
Okay. Be able to modify. So this is also in a group, looks like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what happened. I grouped the text with the input.
Got it. That's fine. You just have to change all of those so that the picture thing comes down into it.
Okay.
All right. So we've got this one field to modify is going to be the category, and choose the category's value skill category. This is choices source is going to be do a search for skill category. Yeah. And
Okay.
current options.
So how do you select all options? Like if you want them to be able.
No. So for some reason, your category thing has like you're trying to specify the categories as different fields, but it should be probably coming from either a category, another thing in the database, or like maybe from an option set or something. Like really, your thing should just have a name, right? So the skill category should have a name, which will be of type text.
Okay.
And each one of those will be its own thing.
Gotcha.
And then you'll just show the name in there.
Okay.
And then here, the description will do the same thing, and it'll be description. So now you're set so that it's going to pull up the person's portfolio, which you should create a portfolio when they first sign up, right? And then once they have the portfolio, their portfolio is going to reference pictures. When you want to add a new picture, instead of having an uploader here, I would have like a button, or like maybe a button here that says add new picture. You'll go ahead and create an empty picture that refers back to that current user's portfolio and fills out all of the other standard stuff about the picture. It'll show up on this list, and now they can upload the image, create a title, choose the category, and add the description. And you don't have to worry about trying to get what's in those inputs to save it back out. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. We've got Thomas. Do you have any questions today?
Nope, no questions.
How about you, Jordan?
Hey, Tanya. Yeah, I do.
Sure. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. Can you see my screen? No.
Yep, I can.
No. Okay, so I've created a list of tasks here. And then when you click into the task, it gives you the task details, and then you can add comments down here.
Sure.
What I was trying to do, I've made a little back button here, which takes us back to the list of tasks, but I wanted to have an up and down button over here, which will shuffle through this list of tasks.
Sure.
So if I'm on the first one, I want to be able to push this button and, display the second one.
Okay.
And onto the third, and I couldn't quite work out how to do that.
Got it. Let's think here. It's going to be, so if you store the index number of the task that you clicked on to, it would, if you store the index number, then when you click, maybe we could access it that way. I don't know if you can. Let's see here. That's a good question. Let me try to prototype it out real quick. and see if we can come up with something.
Do you want to share? Should I stop sharing?
No, I got it.
Oh.
We make it so I trust everybody. We can take over each other's screens. It's fine.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Does anybody else know how to do this already?
It would just be, could you use just the pagination forward and backs?
Yeah, because that's something else we could do is we could I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I got stumped on it too. I thought it would be easy, and then I went to do it.
I know, right? And then you went to do it and you're like, wait, that's not as easy as I thought it should be.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to make, in the data here, I guess I can use the messages that I already have. So that'll work. And then I'm just going to make a repeating group of messages. And then I'm going to do just the text so we can see the message. Okay, I'm going to click on the text and then it's going to open up in a new group here. Group B of type message, data source. We'll leave empty. And then here, and that'll be parent group's text message. Then I'm going to want an icon. Here, and we'll just and on this one. And so I think what I want to do here will be, what if I make this a repeating group? Because if I make this a repeating group, it's by another type. And I make this, are you using the old or the new responsive?
The old one.
The old one. Okay. So it's number of cells, or maybe, yeah, fixed number of cells here. And then the data source, we can also leave it blank. And then what we can do is when we click on here on the cell, we can display list. I need to change them. Let's see, this one is original. So display list in the not original here. And the data source will be repeating group originals, list of messages, items from current cells, message, wait, no, current cells index. And then here, we can, up would be show previous, and down would be to show next. I click here and it says, hey, Mike, and I click up and down and it's not doing anything. So let's see. But that part's working to get the list over there. So this is a repeating group with fixed number of cells, right? Which is what I want. The data source would be I might not expect the previous to work since I sent only the list from a certain number, but I would have expected the next to work. Oh, I didn't set the element. Show next here, probably. So the previous might not work, but let's see. Yeah, so the next is working. It's the previous that doesn't work because I cut off the list because I start at the current index number. That's what you want, right? Like this, okay. So then now I just need to, well, there isn't a previous on that list. So hello, you two. Yeah. Okay, so I just need to change when I send in the information in here. List of messages. Okay, so now my original comes into play. So if when I click on here, I'll set a state. And I'll set a state on here that will be page number. And it will be a number. And the page number will be current cells index, right? And then here, I'll just send in repeating groups, list of messages, and list of the messages. And then here, go to page, actually, I can skip the group here and just go to page current cells index. Let's see if that works. There you go.
Okay, so what did you do? You made that a repeating group.
Yeah, so I made this a one cell repeating group. And what that does is allows for what's called pagination. Yeah. And so if you set this repeating group to be fixed number of cells, then it gives you these options. When you go to the elements, you can go to page, right? In addition to, and you can show previous and show next. Oh, and these are specific to that fixed cell repeating group. So when I click on a cell in the original repeating group, what I'm doing is I'm displaying the list of messages into the fixed cell repeating group, the second one. So I'm taking this list of messages, displaying it in here. I could probably just set this to be the same as this to begin with. I could probably skip this step. Then I'm just going to the page. In fact, let me go ahead and do that. Then I'm just going to the page. So for the second repeating group, that's only one cell, I'm going to the page that's equal to the current cell's index. So then if I go here and I set this to be list of messages, then we should be still set. Yep. So all the rest of it, so when I click on a cell, I'm going to the page of the repeating group here for the current cell's index. And then for the up arrow, I'm showing the previous page. For the down arrow, I'm showing the next page. So show next versus show previous.
Okay. Fix cells. Cool. I think I got it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Sebastian. Welcome. Sebastian, are you there?
Hi, yes.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
It's nice to meet
Thank
you.
you. You too. Good to be here, and an interesting session so far. I'm in the start of my bubble journey, but I have a few questions.
Sure.
And let's see. So I'm trying to build something. Let's see. Yeah, I have a slideshow up here, and I want to present it to show some slides. Then after those slides, I want the presenter to be able to press a button and then ask for some kind of input, a slider input. And when each user in the group shares his content and clicks save, share his input, I want a graph to appear, a bar graph or line graph. So I want this data to be stored in the database, and I don't know really how to set up the database and what is right. I call this the check-in. So I have one text variable for each check-in. I also have a number variable. I don't know if it's supposed to be a number variable or a text variable, or if it is even supposed to be its own group, or if it's supposed to be under user. So that's one question. And I would like to have one bar for each of these areas. And I want the user, all the data for this group to be viewed together, combined.
Awesome. Well, we've actually, Ben has offered to go into a breakout room with you to help you set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and create that, and that will allow you to work through your series of questions.
Okay,
and then you
cool.
can come back to the main group. Yeah, let me go
Cool.
ahead and see. Rooms. So I'm going to assign you and Ben. All right, if you'll just click, you should have just received an invitation to join the breakout room. Perfect. Let's see here. Kelly, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
How are you?
I have less of like a screen share question and more of like maybe you all could help point me in the right direction.
Sure.
You helped me so much with the API connector. My question is like, I don't even know how to phrase it before I go too far down that road. So what I'm building would need to require folks to log into their account and then connect their version of that site. So I don't know where to even start learning how to do that, right? Like, it's not just like connecting my version of the API to the site.
Got
Would
it.
be having, and like authenticating them.
Sure. So that's called, generally we use OAuth for that. So
Okay.
and that is a kind of API connection that you would make,
Okay.
where you would offer them up the ability to connect their account by signing in their own account. We have probably doing the whole setup of OAuth isn't going to work in office hours, but I actually have, I think Cameron is our resident OAuth expert. So he helped Kelly Claus do OAuth like with LinkedIn, and then he's particularly good with Google OAuth as well. But he understands how they work really well. So we can kind of generally look at which services it is that you need to authenticate into.
Okay. Oh, what service is it?
Yeah, it's the one you showed me last week.
Yeah,
Right?
Greenhouse.
Okay.
Okay.
Greenhouse.
I could, that helps just to even like start down the road of how to look down to what OAuth is. And then I guess I have a question of like, and this might be too vague, so I can come back with specifics later, but is it even possible? So basically the service that I'd be connecting to, it's like a recruiting platform. And so what I'd be trying to build is connecting it to, that person's platform, and then grabbing their data and then making a dashboard from that data. So I both have to import information from an API, but then also manipulate it on my end. That seems like so complex in my brain. So I don't know if it's possible.
So what you're going to want to do is actually look at the API documentation for that service and go and look at what they have available in terms of OAuth.
Okay.
Right? So that's the, and there's different versions of OAuth or whatever, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to see what kinds of scopes of activities that you can do through the API when the user OAuths in. So an example would be, I'm going to share my screen just so I can help anchor it to some visuals here. But an example would be when I go into, if I log into a service using Google, for instance, I'm going to be telling Google as I'm OAuthing in, I'm going to be giving the app permissions against a particular scope, right? So an example would be, I'm trying to remember which ones we have, which I think, was it December or November's that I did the OAuth with? I don't know if Thomas or Brittany remember. But like just a regular like logging in OAuth, you don't really have much scope there. Like the only thing I'm allowed to know is your email, for instance, right? I'm not able to know any of the other information about you, and I'm not able to change any of the information about you unless I tell, unless I have later on in my activity, if I need to use a scope, then I would get your permission to use a different scope. Like for instance, knowing I might be able to see your Google Drive, and I might be able to see all the files, and I might only be able to read them, or I could ask for permission to write to them as well and edit them, that sort of thing. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at your at the API documentation and see what's available in their OAuth. Like I can OAuth in and I can grab this token and refresh token, and I can make sure that they stay logged in through my app. And then also here are the scopes that I need access to be able to pull information from their accounts and send and change information in their accounts.
Okay.
With Greenlight.
So a scope would, to use an example, it would be like, if I want to find like the offer acceptance rate, I would have to know like the number of offers within a certain quarter, and then the number of offers accepted versus declined. And then on my end, I would need to do something where I divide, right? Like, so is that possible with the scope you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, that's what you need to research, is to
Okay.
see what level, because usually what they'll do, and I'll show you what I mean here. So if I'm doing like my November sandbox, for instance, right? So I have in here, oh, I deleted them all because I shared my screen. But basically, this is where I would come if I was trying to get them to log into Google, for instance. I would come into the OAuth consent screen and I would configure it here. And once I had added it here, the next screen, so I don't have any credentials. Let me create a credential here. So I'm going to create one API key. So now I have an API key here, and I'll create another one for OAuth. And the application type is going to be web application, and then they're going to want a URI here. And so now I'm going to have this OAuth created here. So when I come into this OAuth screen here, it's going to say all of these things. And at some point, it's going to ask me what kind of scope do I want. So like, what are the sensitive API scopes, for instance, versus restricted API scopes. And this is what's going to tell them what I can do on behalf of the user. Like, can I query the database to see how many offers they did in a certain time period? That's going to be part of a scope that they would allow. A lot of times they'll just, if the person OAuths in with you, like if they enter their credentials and they're authorized and they authorize you, it gives you access to everything. Sometimes they give you very specific scopes. So you would just have to research for green light. Like what will they allow you to do once the user OAuths in? So
okay, that's super helpful. It gives me a really good starting point of like even where to go in the documentation.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be back later with questions in another session. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's see, Adeboye. Are you still here, Adeboye? All right, we'll come back to Boye. Baraka, are you still here? Hi, how are you?
Baraka?
We're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. How are you? Nope, it's not working. Do you want to type?
Fine, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm good.
So do you want to share your screen?
Okay.
Your screen, and we can help you resolve that the mismatch that you were having.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's in and out. It might be easier if you type.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen. Okay. The thing is,
Okay. So can you go to that the place where you weren't able to get resolution? I'm sorry, guys. My internet connection is unstable. It doesn't seem to matter how much money I throw at the internet company. Okay, so this is the accommodation, and then you were trying to filter the repeating group based on the inputs, right? And that's where the problem was? I can't hear you, Baraka. You're on mute, so if you're talking, I can't hear you.
I think he's on mute.
Baraka, we can't hear you. I think you're trying to talk to us, but we can't hear you because you're on mute. I don't know that he can hear us. Adeboye, he was.
Can you unmute him? Since you have access, you might be able to do that, right?
I can ask him to unmute, so I clicked that
Okay, yeah.
button. So let's see here.
Maybe you want to send him a chat or something.
Yeah. So Baraka, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but the issue that you were having earlier that I was taking a look at for you in the NoCoders Facebook group, if you happen to be watching this recording and you're not already a part of our Facebook group, please join. But the issue that you were having is it wasn't the type of content that you were doing was not reconciling the type of content that Bubble was expecting. And that's whenever you see red in an input in Bubble, it just means that there's a mismatch in what Bubble was expecting versus what you're giving to Bubble. Now, I think Alex told you in our group that the adding an item, you were saying plus item, and you didn't have any items after that. So that could have been causing a problem. Baraka, I see you unmuted. Can you hear us? I don't think this is going to work unless you can go to the screen to show me where the red input was. All right, I'm going to call this one. We'll try this again later, Baraka. I'll message you on Facebook. Adeboye, your turn.
Yeah, look, I do have a couple of questions, but I'm going to pass for today, right? I've not been on my app for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
you've had a lot going on. Is everything okay?
Yeah, she's better now. So yeah,
Okay.
So hopefully I'm back now so I can continue building.
Sure.
So, but all of the things I wanted to ask you, I've totally forgotten most of them. So I'm going back through reviewing everything. So yeah, by Friday, yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
I'll ask you for a bit of help.
Awesome. We can't wait. Brittany, did you have any other questions?
Yes, I do have another one. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure I know mine.
No, that's good. I realized I didn't give you any confirmation that I heard you.
Right. Okay, so I'm having an issue with the information showing up. Let me run as this user. Okay. So it's stuff here because the repeating group is, is showing that it registers that a work order is there, but it's not showing the information. And so for some odd reason, I don't know what's going on. On the other pages, it works. Let me go to, I may have just put something in.
So that if it's working on the other pages, there's likely just a disconnect of the information flowing down into the various groups. So,
Okay.
so what I usually do is if we go into if we go into the detail, like one of the details that's missing, yep, exactly. If we go into the parent group, we just have to check that if you scroll up, see there's no data source there.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this is a group, so this is already in a repeating group, right?
Mhm.
So it should just be inheriting the information from what's in the current cell of the repeating group.
It wasn't.
So, okay, so if it's of type work orders, then click the data source,
Mhm.
and then it's not in a, wait, I'm confused, because we're on a page, but there's a reusable.
Right. Okay, so I'm using the reusable inside of the repeating group. So, and the repeating group is inside of a group, a regular group. I have to use a lot of groups when I'm using the new
responsive editor.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So but we're on the page here. We're not in the reusable, right? The reusable is what needs to inherit all of this information.
Well, if that's weird because it's working on another page and I'm using the reusable on that page.
Your audio is messed up again.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was saying that's kind of weird because on the other page from the reusable, I'm using the same reusable on the other page.
Okay, so click the reusable. Don't go into the reusable. Stay where you are and just click on it. You have to set the data source.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So,
there you go.
I think I did know that, but I just forgot.
Now try it and see if that worked.
Yep.
Yep, there you go.
Fix. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, I think we got all of our questions for this cohort answered, unless Thomas, you have anything new? Or Brittany, do you have anything else?
Everything else we can probably work on later.
Okay. Yep, no worries. All right, let's why don't we're going to go ahead and wrap up office hours for today and move into our after hours session. After hours is what happens when we stop recording, we turn on the cameras, and we just hang out. And if anything isn't world watching ready, right? Like if you have anything that you can't share on the broadcast recording, our members will save it for after hours, and we can go over together without the recording happening. So if you would like to join those sessions, you have to be a member. So please go sign up at pronocoders.com today.